I'd like to welcome along a few special guests. We've got Sharon Bird here, member for Cunningham. And we've got George Takis I've seen somewhere. Hi George. Thank you very much everybody for coming along and showing your support. This is a wonderful number here. I have written a letter to Tony Abbott, and what I want to do is, as my speech, read: Dear Prime Minister Tony Abbott, dear senators and ministers of our government, dear leaders of the world, please hear our plea. We know that climate change is real. The evidence is everywhere. We know that it is serious. The science is clear. Member for Cunningham, Sharon Bird.
Thanks, Tom. We were actually leading the world in taking action on climate change. Before the 2007 election, John Howard said he wanted Australia to be a leader in taking action on climate change. Now we have Tony Abbott, who, let's be honest, fundamentally doesn't even believe the science on climate change. We all hope we leave them a better life, but surely our responsibility is to leave them at least as good a life as the one that we enjoyed. Thanks and good luck to the campaign.
I'd like now to call on George Takis, who represents the Greens and also is Councillor on Wollongong Council.
There's two budgets that are involved here when it comes to climate action. The first one is the carbon budget. And we know from the science of the carbon cycle and what we know about our fossil fuel reserves that the current economically recoverable reserves of fossil fuels are about 5 times what we can afford to burn. We can burn about 20% of the stuff that we already know about in the ground. That's one budget. The second budget is the investment budget. How much do we need to spend on new energy generating technologies so we can avert the worst of the climate catastrophe that's potentially facing us if we don't act? And we know that budget's been studied independently by several people over the years, and they all come up with about the same figure. About $1 trillion a year globally is what we need to spend on the technologies to replace the dirty fossil fuel technologies we've got at present. $1 trillion. It sounds like a tall order. It's about 1.3% of gross global product. But it's not that tall an order when you start to put it into a context. And some of the context is this. The International Energy Agency collects figures on how much governments around the world spend on subsidising the consumption of fossil fuels each year. That subsidy globally is about $500 billion, $500 billion. If we abolish that subsidy and directed it towards renewable energy technologies, that would be half the money we need to spend to avert more than 2 degrees of global warming. The Liberal Party at the federal level doesn't have a clear commitment to shifting us away from the old technologies. They need to develop that clear commitment. They will only develop that clear commitment if the electorate demands it of them. There's 2 ways you can get that clear commitment from the Liberal Party. One is to stop voting for them. The second one is, and this might be a step too far for some people, but if you're not politically active yet, you're not in a political party, join the Liberal Party and change them from the inside. That way we might actually get effective action. Thank you.
Thank you very much, George. 200 years of industry, affluence and growth have given us a massive greenhouse headache. The hangover will be changing the climate for centuries to come. I look forward to the day when all our homes and cars are powered from the sun and wind, when all our transport is driven by renewable fuels, and when our industry's use of fossils doesn't involve more CO2 going into the atmosphere. We can do these things. We need to do them now. Yes, the changes will cost us a little, but the status quo will cost us the earth. Thank you.
Never turning back, never turning back. Hey, it looks pretty good. Illawarra wants climate action now.